What is up, guys? Welcome. Breaking news. Look at that initial call out. 566 pages right here. Boom. Someone's going to catch some shit if they didn't. Happy Friday night. Happy Friday night. Did you guys know that somebody called in a tip, Idaho State Police, or I'm sorry, to the Pullman Police Department, and they sent a 20-page file on me, and her name is that psycho crazy bitch that's fucking stalking hoe? Fucking dead. Dumb. What a dumb bitch. I'm starting a Friday off with a boom. What a dumb bitch. She knows who she is. Fucking psycho stalker. Girl, it ain't never gonna happen. Move on. She was taking selfies of my lives with her in it. You know. Anyways, she's a damn nut. A damn nutcase. Obsessive. Okay. What? And she was sending them to Pullman. Like, what a moron. What is wrong with that hoe? Get a man. What's your man got to do with me? Go hang out with Molly. Happy Friday, guys. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Let's talk about it. Her name is Gigi Jen. Who gives a fuck? Smith? Thompson? Who knows? The initial call out here. So, Jeffrey. And time here. 12:12 or 12:22. 1. Oh my gosh. No way. Crazy. There you go. Moving on. James Miller. On November 16th. So his report is on November 16th. And Idaho State Police detectives interviewed blank blank regarding multiple homicides which took place in Moscow, Idaho. The interview took place at blank 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 in Boise. So here we go. November 16th. Was this recorded? I'll usually tell you. Here's the witness. They took the name completely out. White male, 22. So the interview, let's see, witness 6. White male, 23. They gave up their DNA. Is this Schalter? Let's find out. On November 16th, 2022, at approximately 3:16 p.m., Idaho State Police Investigations Lieutenant and I interviewed, that looks like Jack Schalter, in my opinion. It's in Boise. See how it's a short, again, I'm just guessing. But the interview took place at his parents' house. There you go, located at blank in Boise. During the interview, blank stated the following. Again, I'm guessing here, but I believe it's Schalter. They're not even going to give us the initials. So his residence at school was blank. His residence is approximately 200 to 300 feet from the location of the homicide. There you go. It had been a little nerve-wracking going outside of his apartment. What? He knew some of the homicide victims. He knew Maddie and Xana. He had met Kaylee the night before the homicide, but did not realize she was one of the victims until later. He did not know the male, Ethan. I don't know. Maybe this isn't who I think it is. At this point in the interview, blank, that mother, blank, arrived home and was present for the remainder of the interview. He had known Maddie since their freshman year, and they were in the same pledge class for the fraternities and sororities on campus. Maddie had dated some of blank's friends and had positive interactions with them. Blank girlfriend in the past. Blank had classes with Maddie. This might not be. This actually might be, what's his name? The guy that got kicked out of the bar. Woo! Wild. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it is. Because down here Saturday night, I don't know. Hold on. We'll play guest later. He had never met Ethan before. But him and Maddie, they had done homework together periodically. Wait, how old does this kid say he is? Because that other dude is way older. Does this guy say he's 22? We usually say it right in the beginning. Wait, what? Okay. What the fuck? Okay, sorry about that. He said they had done homework periodically together. He and Maddie had a lot of friends in common as well. He supposed he had met Kaylee prior to that night, but did not recall specifically. He had never met Xana's boyfriend, Ethan, before. Blank heard Chapin belonged to Blank, the fraternity. Chapin was also a year younger than him in school. I think this is Jack. Mogan was dating one of Blank fraternity brothers, Blank, whom Blank believed lived in Boise. Blank had spoken to Blank earlier in the day on November 16th. Blank is a stand-up guy. So talking to Jake. Mogan's previous boyfriend was also one of Blank friends and is also a nice guy. He and Mogan were mostly just on and off Blank friends. On and off fuck buddy friends. On and off friends. What? Saturday night, November 12th, and into Sunday morning, November 13th. At the end of the game day. What the fuck? These people cannot write. Welcome. I don't have time for this. What the heck? Nobody can write. You guys see this? Oh my goodness. Jeez. Make this as big as I possibly can for y'all, because I swear this is insane. Saturday night, November 12th, and into Sunday morning, November 13th. At the end of the game day. What the fuck is that? People went out to the bars. Blank ran into Mogan at the corner club. Mogan and Kaylee were going to leave the bar to go to John's Alley. This is totally, now I know it's 100% Showalter. Welcome if you're just joining us. Feeding the beast. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on a second. Dear Lord, help us. Okay. Oh, we're back at it. Welcome. Come on in. Jeez. What a day it's been. What a day. What a day, guys. What a day. What a day with Lana. Hi, Murky. What's good? Hope you're feeling good. All right. Now, those of you guys who are listening, again, this is Schalter, his interview. This is from Idaho State Police. And if it sounds a certain way, don't blame me. Blame the writer. So, they were supposed to go to John's Alley and asked Blank if he wanted to go with them. Schalter. On the way to John's Alley, Maddie and Kaylee decide to get food at the grub truck instead. Blank was at the grub truck with them, but was hanging out in the back because he was not getting any food. Someone in a silver sedan. Thank you. Boom! Shots fired. Boom! Someone in a silver sedan picked up Maddie and Kaylee. He assumed it was one of their friends. Blank told Maddie to have a good night. Blank designated driver's shift had already ended at approximately 2 a.m. Blank had a good coat on, so he walked home. He thought it took him 20 to 30 minutes to walk home from the grub truck. Blank got home around 3 a.m. and went to bed. Whew. Oh, boy. That is a lie. Oh, my God. You guys, where's Linda Lane? Where is Linda Lane? You guys, Schalter saying he walked home and went straight to bed. Impressive. So yeah, he had a good coat on. He said, I had a good coat on, so I walked home. He thought it took him 20, 30 minutes to walk home from the grub truck. Blank got home around 3. And, well, if he started walking at 1:56, 1:45 in the morning, he would not get home around 3. Blank got home around 3 a.m. and went to bed. Blank showed on a map the way he walked home, and the way he described did not pass the residence of the homicides. Sunday, November 13th, Blank woke up around 10 a.m. to watch NFL football. He left his house and went to Floyd's dispensary across the border in Washington. Oh my God. I cannot make this up. He couldn't remember if he went to Floyd's before he started watching football or if he started watching football and then went to Floyd's. He thought it was weird because he drove past the scene on his way to Floyd's and didn't see any police or anything out of the ordinary. Blank drove a blank. We cannot talk about the car. During the morning, people called him to see if he knew what was going on down the street at the homicide scene. Blank didn't believe them and walked outside to see. Blank had to walk down the street to see the resident's homicide scene. There was a rumor of an unconscious person, which seemed believable. During the group chat between the pledge classes from the fraternities and sororities, kids realized people were missing. And something more than a person passed out might have happened. Most of his chats are via Snapchat. Some of the family members of the victims started letting people know about the homicide before the news did. Some of the family members of the victims started letting people know about the homicide before the news did. Well, There you have it. This is Jack Showalter's interview. Blank heard a lot of people were packing up and leaving. Blank felt jumpy even leaving his apartment and walking out to his car. He would be able to do his classes online, so he packed up the next morning, November 14th, and went. He packed up the next morning and on Monday, November 14th, and left. He had only been to the residence where the homicides took place maybe once. When he did go there, he was pretty sure it was all different people living there. He heard there was a party there earlier that day that some of his friends went to. Blank went to the corner club himself. Blank went to the corner club himself, meaning Jack, Showalter. He went to the corner club himself because he had friends who went there and worked there. Blank, Mogan, and Gonsalves were the only ones in their group who left the corner club and went to the grub truck. Of the victims, only Mogan and Gonsalves were at the bar. Blank believed Xana and Ethan were still underage. Blank thought the car in front of their house looked similar to the one who picked them up that night. It seemed like a friend that picked them up, not a random person. People usually use designated drivers from like their fraternities or sororities. He thought maybe Xana and Ethan might have picked Mogan and Kaylee up. Blank doesn't usually go to parties. He usually goes to the bar. He heard a rumor there was a party at the victim's residence earlier. Xana sometimes would get a little crazy with partying and Blank. Mogan just uses alcohol. Ooh, he's talking about drugs with partying and something. That word looks like Coke. But that's just what it looks like. Mogan just uses alcohol. Kaylee, he thought just drank only. If I don't know her, I mean, he doesn't remember meeting Kaylee prior to that night. I'd be like, I don't know. Weird, man. I would be like, I have no idea. After the incident, he heard rumors of Kaylee having a stalker. Any girl who belonged to the Blank sorority should know about the stalker information. Maddie and Kaylee, he believed, both belonged to that sorority. Blank had an ex-girlfriend he was trying to get back together with. For most of the past few years, he had a girlfriend who went to a different school, so he hadn't been hanging out with a lot of people regularly. Blank, Jack Showalter, had no idea who could have committed these homicides. Usually the craziest thing that happens are people getting MIPs and DUIs. It's the same thing that Dylan said. He hadn't heard any rumors about why this could have happened. He thought the only reason someone might have acted out like this is for love. This is Jack Showalter being interviewed by Idaho State Police. Wow. He heard there are videos of him at the grub truck with Maddie and Kaylee. The grub truck live streams video on Twitch TV. News outlets have identified him from that video and have called him. News outlets. Jack Showalter left Moscow Monday morning around noon. He traveled home by way of Ontario, Oregon, instead of New Meadows because he doesn't like driving through the mountains. What? With consent, I collected his DNA. He had no apparent injuries to his hands, forearms, head, or neck areas. The interview ended at approximately 4:02. For complete details, now this is how this is how Idaho State Police work. If you were to read this, if I was to show you an interview that they did in connection with the Brian Drake case, I would read their report, okay, and then I would listen to the interview, and I would look at the report, and I would say, "You've got to be kidding me." So again, for me, I'm taking this with a grain of salt until I heard, because I've seen their work. It is bad. And it's bad. It's just period. So they took his DNA. They asked him to get in that mouth. So see how up on the top it says supplemental number 2 here? Remember how the same thing is whenever you actually just type up the report. So when you go through, it's not going to be in chronological order. So what the Idaho State Police does with theirs is, see how this is a detective with this District 3 here? District 2 was the ones that were called in, so I think that that's interesting. And something that I just never understood is that here it is for me, is that when I would see that these different people would be interviewing these people in like the Brian Drake case, it's like I have to perform a couple of these, a good amount of these interviews so that I would know what to ask based on what I heard from somebody else, you know? And when you don't, you're just asking questions. It's just so like basic. So now this is a 27-year-old white male, a witness. They're putting down there as a witness. See interview audio. On November 17th at approximately 1:02, Idaho State Police Detective Lieutenant Caitlin and I conducted an interview with blank. The interview was in reference to the murder. Okay, we can probably go on from that. Blank reported the following. On November 12th, 2022, he woke up, stated watching college football, and then went to the gym. His roommate, blank, had a dart tournament at the Moose Lounge. You guys, we have that body cam. One of my good friends was like, Lana, you need to go get that Moose Lodge body cam. I'm telling you, she's like, something went down there that night. So this, anyways, the Moose Lounge, which is next door to the Corner Club. At approximately 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., he went to the Moose Lodge and started drinking. Moose Lodge had a veteran special. They were at Moose Lodge until approximately 9 p.m. And then they went to Mingles Bar and Grill for about an hour. After Mingles, they went to the Corner Club. But at this point in the evening, he was intoxicated. He did not remember getting kicked out of the Corner Club. Here it is. This is this dude. He doesn't even remember getting kicked out and did not know why he was kicked out. At approximately 11:21 p.m., he and Maddie Mogan took a picture together while they were at the Corner Club. Mogan sent it in a group text to blank. Also sent with the photo was a text message saying, "Get to the club, blank." He didn't remember taking the photo with Mogan and didn't remember who Mogan was with. This was also the first time he'd seen Mogan outside of class and school projects. He didn't remember much from the evening, but said he walked home from Corner Club. His address was blank. His roommate blank got home around 1:30 or 1:40. His other roommate told him he got home around about 30 minutes before, so approximately 1, and that was the end of the night for him. His roommates are blank, blank, and blank, and they were a couple, like, so they're dating. On November 13th, he woke up at approximately noon. He learned of the incident through a vandal alert student email that afternoon, which explained the situation. And an hour after receiving the first vandal alert, he received another, which told him there was no suspect and to remain vigilant. A third vandal alert was sent out that evening while he was at work, which had details of how many victims there were. He didn't know Mogan was one of the victims until Monday afternoon when he received an email from his professor of marketing. He, Mogan, and blank are in marketing at the university and work together on group projects. They were working on a project for blank, which was a cafe in town Mogan worked for, the Mad Greek. Ho ho. When they worked on projects together, they would meet and work in basement of the Albertsons building on campus. He hadn't ever been to Mogan's house and didn't know until recently where she lived. He worked at blank in Moscow and has worked for blank for 8 years in total. That's that freaking store I was telling you guys about. As he transferred colleges, he moved stores with, it's called Big Five. His boss said the stores carried old K-bar knives, but they were an older clearance item. He didn't know what kind of sheath a K-bar knife would come with. He didn't know Kaylee and didn't remember seeing her at the corner club. He didn't know any of the victims besides Maddie. So sad. Maddie was the only person from the house he spoke with, and it was mainly related to class projects. He'd only talked to Mogan approximately 4 or 5 times throughout the school year. They mainly used text messages to communicate. He read us the group text he, Mogan, and somebody else was in. The last time from the Mogan was spent the picture from the corner club. Blank responded the following day, which was the last text in the thread. He was attending his last semester at the university, and he thought that Mogan was going to finish in 2023. So, yeah. He started college at Treasure Valley Community College, transferred to Utah Tech University, and from 2017 to 2019, he started attending the University of Idaho. What? In 2019, he joined the Army Reserves as a culinary specialist. Oh, so all my great information. After 2 years, he went back to the University of Idaho to finish his schooling. He never heard of any issues Mogan had with anyone. He did not know if Mogan used any narcotics. They never spoke of anything personal. He didn't have a car and walked wherever he needed to go around the campus. He rode the bus home to Boise and borrowed his brother's pickup while he was in town. Blank did not have any injuries on his hands, arms, or face. He said, "Here you go, take my DNA." Okay. This is Vicky Gooch. The Gooch is on fire. Oh God, I think this is now Dylan's interview. I know that she took an interview on the 20th, so I'm guessing this is Dylan. Whoop whoop. I'm not gonna have a voice. Let's see. God, I'm way ahead of schedule tonight, guys. Oh. Vicky Gooch. The Gooch is on fire. We don't need no water. Here's go. So on November 17, 2022, Idaho State Police Detective Victoria M. Gooch and the Moscow Police Department Sergeant Dustin Blaker interviewed Blank at her residence. So Victoria Gooch, she lives in Boise. So Dustin Blaker then traveled to Boise. So go ahead and write down that Dustin Blaker on November 17th, he was in Boise. Very important. You know, it's like 5+ hours. And then what time did that start at? Okay. Oh, the interview occurred with Blank attorney present via computer. They Blank, an attorney in Moscow, Idaho. So Dylan had an attorney present at this interview. Very, very smart. Very, very good. Good job, Dylan. Good job, parents. Smart. You should. 150%. My kid was in that situation. 100% we will cooperate. We're going to do it through an attorney. So, again, the interview was also audio recorded by me and Sergeant Blaker. So the thumb drive of the interview was assigned this tag number in this case. Okay. The audio file on the interview had been downloaded onto the thumb drive on November 18th, and the thumb drive was maintained in my sole care and custody until entered into evidence on November 20th. Okay. So this was at 12. So that means he would have gotten up and drove at 6 o'clock in the morning. Look at this. This is when it was printed. Interesting. All right. Dylan stated the following. She's a sophomore at the University of Idaho studying pre-physical therapy. She has been a University of Idaho student for both years, freshman and this year. She had been residing at the residence where this incident occurred since August of 2022. That is correct. Her friend blank and she moved into the residence, and the other female roommates she knew through their sorority. So I'm guessing her friend Bethany, and she moved into the residence, and the other female roommates she knew through their sorority. Blank. Maddie and Xana prior to this year, and had also met Kaylee before, but Kaylee belonged to another sorority. She explained Kaylee was a senior in school. She described Xana as being a year older than herself. She also described two additional friends, blank and blank, but they were not residents in the house. Dylan explained blank introduced her to Xana last year. Both blank and blank reside in blank apartments, an apartment complex on campus that houses sorority members. I'm going to guess that's the Treehouse or the Whites. See the Whites, and it didn't get that last little. She described the layout of the residence and where each of the roommates resided, paraphrased based on blank description of their residence. When you walk in, there is a door. There is downstairs with a bathroom, and then the bedroom when you walk into the door. There's a hallway with a bedroom and the kitchen, and then the sliding door. And upstairs is Kaylee's room and a bathroom and Maddie's room. Xana is on the same floor as her bedroom. Initially, she was asked to describe, keyword, she was asked to describe what the girls did on the 12th of November, but she described there was a ball on Friday night, November 11th, 2022, Pi sorority ball, which she briefly attended. She explained she started drinking at 4:30 p.m. on the 11th, which would be Friday. She described the individuals at the ball, including all her roommates, as well as Ethan and his blank. There's no way they all went. Blank and their dates, who were, why didn't they? Well, they missed one. I forgot to get that one. Blank and blank and blank. Kaylee was blank date for the ball. Whose? Dylan's. Kaylee was Dylan's date for the ball. Kaylee. So they did end up going? Blank described how she got home. How could they all go if they were not members? Dylan described how she got home on Friday night by using an Uber from the Pi Phi ball to their residence. She explained she and her roommates normally have blank as their Uber driver, Eric. And my guess is that says Eric. But not on the night of the 11th. She does not remember the name of the Uber driver on Friday night. This was around 8:30 p.m. What? She explained she and the roommates trust Eric. That's my guess. She advised the party initially transitioned to the blank, but she got bored and wanted to go home. It was she, Maddie, and Xana, and Ethan regarding the roommates who attended the ball. Wait, what? I thought that Dylan was your date. You guys, that does not even make any sense. Eventually, a group from the blank event transitioned to blank and the other roommate's house. And the other roommate's house? What? And there was a party that continued there until the early morning hours of November 12th. She requested to look at her cell phone during this point in the interview to verify the timeline. She was advised she could use her cell phone to provide times during her interview. She advised the other individuals that came to the house on Friday night were blank. Initially, she said it was blank, but corrected herself to say it was not blank, but blank who came to the house, and blank as well as herself. They were consuming large amounts of alcohol and playing music. Normal shit. She went to bed a little after 12:10 a.m. and then added she went to bed sometime between 12:10 and 12:30 a.m. that morning. Eventually, she advised Maddie came home and eventually Kaylee, but she was not certain about where Kaylee was when she went to bed. On what night? Wait, what the fuck are we talking about? She then explained on Saturday morning. Okay. She then explained on Saturday morning, November 12th at approximately 12:15. She then corrected the time to 11:44 a.m. What is she doing? The roommates went together to get coffee. Yes. And the store to get more alcohol. That was what the coffee was all about. They still had champagne from the previous weekend, which she explained was the U of I Parents Weekend. She explained the plans for that Saturday night included a blank Sigma Chi. What? Fraternity party on campus. Blank explained Kaylee was not going to this function because she was a senior, and typically seniors do not attend the fraternity functions on campus because they are old enough to go to the local clubs. Blank explained she was going to the blank party. That's how she spelled Sigma Chi? Oh, wow. That's how she spelled Sigma Chi. Mm. Dustin Blaker's like, man, girl, you don't know anything about our sorority life, do you? Gooch is like, nope. Gooch. Dylan further explained at one point Maddie was at this function, but left the function to go to the club with Kaylee. They were all at the house together at 5 p.m. on Saturday, November 12th. Dylan stated Kaylee decided to go and take a nap, and blank, I'm going to guess it says Bethany, Maddie, Xana. But why would that be in blank? And she were on the couch watching a movie. So, and Bethany, Maddie, Xana, and Dylan were on, that's why. That says Bethany and that says Dylan. They were all on the couch watching a movie. Dylan explained they were all together Saturday afternoon at the house, and they all decided to take naps. And each of the girls set their alarms for 8 p.m. Dylan believes Ethan may have come over to the house at this time, but she was not certain if this is the time Ethan came over or if he showed up at a different time. Dylan explained she had an assignment due in her Psychology 215 course, so she posted the assignment at approximately 10:12 p.m. She believes she then left the house at approximately 10:30 Saturday night. Dude, she's like, I'm fucking gonna do this shit ham and send it in. That's awesome. That's the way to roll. That's the way to roll. That's college living right there. I gotta finish the psychology. I gotta upload this to the Blackboard, man. Come on. Oh man, those days. When Dylan left the house, Kaylee was still there with one of her friends. However, Dylan does not know the name of this friend. She described the friend was a female and was nice. After leaving the house, she saw Maddie between their residence and the blank. I'm guessing whatever. And Maddie was holding a box of White Claws while she was walking towards their house. She advised she talked to Maddie, and then Dylan continued to the Sigma Chi function. She believed Maddie was going back to their residence to get ready to go to the club with Kaylee. Sergeant Blaker asked Blank to give more details about the route she took when she encountered Maddie, and she provided those details in this interview. She explained when she got to the Sigma Chi function, she wanted to meet up with Xana and Blank, I'm guessing Bethany, and she called Xana on her cell phone to find out which apartment they were in, because like the different rooms in the Sigma Chi house. And she was told that they were in Blank's apartment. They were in apartment Blank. Others who were at the apartment at this time were Ethan, blank, 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 Xana, blank, blank, blank. Dylan explained she and somebody were going in and out of the fraternity lodge together for part of the night. I mean, maybe Bethany. Dylan explained there were not a lot of people at this function. What? That place was crowded as hell. Whoa, okay. She further explained after she met up with Bethany and the two of them went to Blank's apartment, She was with Ethan and Xana during part of the night, and Dylan explained Ethan had been trying to get in contact with his sister because she had been upset about something and he was worried about her. Oh my God. That's what she was. Dylan, shut the fuck up. Stop fucking crying, Dylan. What the fuck is she crying for? You guys remember that? Whew. Yeah, so Ethan was trying to get in contact with his sister because something happened to his sister because she had been upset about something and he was worried about her, but Blank did not know what the issue was. She remembered Blank told her brother she had not been answering her cell phone because she had been sleeping. Bethany had told, yeah. She described Ethan as being very protective of his sister as well as protective with all of the roommates. Good boy. The group of them that went inside, I'm sorry, the group of them then went to visit Blank, who she had previously met through Xana. And Blank was also there, including she, Blank, and Blank, and Blank, and Blank, and Blank were also there, as well as Blank, and Blank, and Blank. When asked how much alcohol she had consumed, she explained she had been playing Rage Cage. Dude, I want to play that game. I want to play Rage Cage. Cheers. Cheers. Rage Cage. Man. Which she described was a drinking game. And when she awakened from her nap, she consumed 3 White Claws with an alcohol content of 5%. She denied there was any drug use and stated Xana and Ethan used blank. That looks like Adderall. She advised neither Maddie or Keely did drugs. She explained she nor Blank never touched that stuff. She described the alcohol used at Blank and Blank residence, which included Blank consuming. That looks like Bethany. Like that. Whoa, which included Bethany consuming a whole Borg. Oh my God. You guys, that is Bethany's name there. Bethany consuming a whole Borg, in which she also consumed some of the Borg. Based on a Google search I conducted relative to writing this report, a Borg, you didn't ask her what a Borg was? How are you going to interview somebody? And if you don't, I've been, excuse me, what's a Borg? A Shaborgan. Shabuzi. So I'm over here just like, why wouldn't you? What's a Borg? So after I was done with her, I Googled it. So Bethany had a whole Borg. Dylan had just some of the Borg. Okay, so based on the Google search I conducted with relative to writing this report, a Borg is an alcoholic beverage which requires taking an empty gallon container and filling it halfway with water, adding vodka and enough MIO to make the taste of vodka disappear. The cocktail is often referred to as a Borg, but the nickname doubles as an acronym that stands for the drink's full name, Black Outrage Gallon. You just have to. Thank you, detective. Now that is what you call just detective 101, baby. Shaborgans. All aboard? What would you name your Borg? You have to name it. Why didn't you talk about that? Borgasm. There you go. I'm having a Borgasm tonight. How about you? All aboard? Yeah. This chick, Anna, she's definitely nuts. Or are we talking about are we talking about Gigi? She's totally fucking shit bad. Don't worry. I'm going to read what that shit lunatic put the fuck in the reports. What a psycho. What a psycho. Moving on. Number 32. She described Blank as being extremely intoxicated and that she had continued to consume alcohol and because of Blank intoxicated condition, Dylan advised she invited Blank to come back to her residence with her to watch movies, and because of Dylan's intoxicating condition, she called a sober, which she described involving a sober freshman fraternity member who is a designated driver for fraternity and sorority members who are consuming alcohol to drive them to their homes safely. A sobro? Wow. She advised it was only she and Blank that went back to the residence using the sobro. She did not believe anyone else was home when, her and Bethany got home. Okay, hang on. Hang on. Because they were at the Whites and they just walked home. You don't need a sobro to go from the Whites. Okay. So I don't think she remembered how she got home. When the two of them got home, meaning Bethany and Dylan, so Dylan's under the impression that they were together when they went home. Do you understand that that's every single report that's in the Moscow Police Department stuff over there is that Dylan and Bethany, they did not leave together from the Whites. Ooh. Maybe Dylan was. Maybe somebody roofied Dylan. So here we go. So when the two of them got home, which she believed was sometime between 1:15 a.m. and 1:30 a.m., she was intoxicated. And because of that, she does not remember what time it actually was. But she believed it was between the two times mentioned. She further advised she made popcorn in the kitchen, and she and Blank watched Vampire Diaries together. Approximately 20 minutes later, Blank returned home. Unless she's trying to say this maybe her and this freshman girl walked home, and then now she's saying, okay, approximately 20 minutes later, Bethany returned home. The three of them laid down and continued to watch Vampire Diaries. She believes Blank may have walked home, and then she advised she does not know what time Blank and Blank went to bed. She had already gone to bed and does not know when Blank may have left or when Blank went to bed. At approximately 2 or 2:30, she awakened because Maddie and Kaylee arrived home with grub truck food. And they had mac and cheese, which Blank explained they normally got. All four of them were together, which included Kaylee, Maddie, Bethany, and Dylan. Dylan advised they were taking selfie videos. Aww. All the girls talked about getting grub truck food. She did not believe Xana and Ethan were home because their bedroom door was open and she did not see them. And she discussed whether she may have been mistaken about this fact. And then she said she was certain she saw their door was open and they were not home. Now, boom, there we go. So Ethan and Xana not home. Blank looked at her phone to determine what time she had texted Eric, the Uber driver, and said her phone said 3:10 a.m. What? But after further discussion, Dylan admitted she was some confused about whether she was using Moscow time or Boise time. And Dylan explained her timeline may be off by an hour because of this issue. Specifically during this interview referencing Boise time instead of providing the time it would have been in Moscow when these events were occurring on the 13th of November. Oh my God, this is absolutely so interesting now. Why isn't Ann Taylor referencing that? That's like a big deal. And that's so true, but it converts to like if you were to go back, so because I get it, she's like, oh hell, now I gotta do some math. I really don't want to do math tonight. I'm not. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Yeah, that's exactly what it could mean. Your phone does adjust to it, but I get what she's trying to say, because it's like this. It's no different than this. If I was to, okay, if I go on Facebook and I post something on Facebook when I'm in Los Angeles, okay, and I post it and it's 3 p.m. in Los Angeles. Well, I'm usually living in Ohio, right? And so that would be 9 o'clock, right? Or I'm sorry, if I post something at 3, it's like 6 o'clock here. So my question would be then is, when I would then look back at my posts, is it going to reflect the fact that when I'm in that time zone, so like let's say that I go look at my post 5 days later and I'm in Ohio, is it going to show that that post was made at 6? You guys get it? Because, and so these cops should already know that, and they should be saying, no, it's fine. What time does it say on your phone? But that's the time that it was here then. They would know that. They would know that. That would be like so easy for them to know. But do you get what I'm saying and how I'm explaining that? It just is going to change with like, that's why it matters when someone takes a screenshot and you see 3:33 a.m. But if I was to take that screenshot, I would have seen 6:33 a.m. Right? Ah. Anyways, let's continue on. We'll deal with that tomorrow. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Let's talk about screenshots. That's what the difficult part is. It's like a screenshot. That's why there is something called UTC time. Universal. That's why. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. Where was I? Okay, so she explained that she looks at her phone and she's like, "Oh, all the girls talked about getting Grubhub truck." Okay, Xana and Ethan went home because not home. So she then went to bed, which she advised was after texting blank the Uber driver. You guys know that she texts what's his name, the Uber driver, at the reason that she says 3:10 is because she texted him at 2:10 a.m. Okay, so that's why her. Yep. So we're already figuring it out. So she's looking at her phone. Yep. There you go. So it's accurate. So when she's saying that she texted Eric at 3:10, that's what's showing on her phone because she's in Boise. Okay. But that would be like, what time would that have been in Moscow when you're looking at your phone? Okay, that would have been an hour before. So it's 2:10, which is right. Like, I'm just meaning, like, so when she's talking to these cops, she's reading off her time to them as this happened at 3:10. And she's just like, well, something seems wrong here because that doesn't seem right, you know? And then she catches it, though. Not these idiots. Pisses me off. Dylan caught it. Dylan looked at her phone to determine what time she had texted Eric, the Uber driver, and she said her phone said 3:10. But after further discussion, Dylan admitted she was some confused about whether she was using Moscow time or Boise time. And Dylan explained her timeline may be off by an hour because of this issue, specifically during this interview referencing Boise time instead of providing the time it would have been in Moscow when these events were occurring on the 13th. What do you mean? She's actually doing it right. She's like, let me look at my phone to do it. These guys should have been like, okay, yeah, I understand that this is going to be off now an hour. Like, they should have known that. Clearly they don't. She explained she uses Snapchat as well as her cell phone to communicate with her friends. She advised if there is a if there is lack of texted communications on her cell phone, it's because she had transitioned to using the Snapchat app from her method of communication. Oh, wow. Oh, that is not a good sentence right there. She advised if there is lack of texted communications on her cell phone, it's not because I deleted anything. It's because I transitioned to use Snapchat for her method of communication. She advised her log in information with Snap is blank and her password is either blank or blank. She denied knowing her roommate's she denied knowing her roommate's passwords to their cell phones. Ooh, uh-oh. Why would you be asking about that? Why are we asking about people's cell phone passwords? Ooh, boy. Maybe just a random question. Did you know your roommate's passwords? Or maybe because we're trying to actually get into Kaylee's. Do you know her password? Moto. For Christ's sakes, now I have so many more questions. Thank you. Is that right? Just so we know the time, we're not talking about the time changing for the daylight saving time. That's not what this is about. This is about your phone. When you would look at your phone, if I'm in LA and in the morning I'm texting and then I get on my plane and then I get to Ohio. Okay. When I get to Ohio and I look at my phone, it's going to show me that I made the text messages that I made while I was in LA. It's going to convert that to what time it was in Ohio time. Okay. It's going to do that conversion for me. And then if I was to get back on a plane and fly, when I would look back at my phone, whatever time zone I'm in, it's going to tell me what time it would have been in that time zone when I had made that text. Okay? You can say, Lana, she's lying all you want. I'm talking about the times. This is not lie, no lie. This is just fact. It's not about, I'm explaining the times of how your phone works and how your phone operates. That's why I just said it 10 minutes ago. I was like, I really don't want to explain this math. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, it's money in the bank. That's how our phones work. And that's why everything's on UTC time, by the way. And then they use that first, and then that's how then they convert. Matters. Okay, so going back to Dylan. Dilski, with the Borgski. While they were together, they talked about ordering grub truck, and she then texted Eric, the Uber driver, at approximately 3:10. She explained she texted to Eric, "Are you driving by chance?" So again, that would have been 2:10. At approximately 2:13, Eric texted her back. She then went to bed. Now think about this. Dude, this is a disadvantage for Dylan. This would mess with your head, dude. If you're looking at your phone and you're like, okay, then I went to bed, because you're like, well, I went to bed like around 3. Okay. So you're seeing that and you're like, but then you have to like remind yourself, well, no, that was actually at 2 something, you know? So really, when she's saying that she went to bed at 3, she really means that she went to bed after that at like 2:15, okay? Now, at approximately, she then went to bed. She does not believe blank ever came to their house because she never responded to his text about the fact that he was still driving. So, oh, daddy, she's like, well, did Eric come back over to your house? Did Eric come back over? And she's like, I don't think that he did because, you know, I went to sleep. Okay. But they want to know if Eric came back over. Well, ask Eric. See what he says. She advised that Eric, the Uber driver, is in his 30s. He's married and has 1 child. She advised all the girls knew him and liked him. Dylan advised she is not certain if she stayed awake to watch more Vampire Diaries episodes or if she went to sleep. She was not certain if she locked her bedroom door and she was not certain if she locked the sliding door because she was the one who usually did. But she also volunteered in her statement that she believed Moscow was a safe place, so the sliding door was not always locked. She does not remember if anyone locked the sliding glass door before she went to bed. She was the first to go to bed ahead of the other roommates. Boom. That's really, really important, in my opinion. She explained that she previously had a lot of dreams where she had been kidnapped in her dreams. And she further explained these type of dreams started in high school, and she knew that they were dreams and she would let those things happen in her dreams because she realized they were dreams. What? She advised she does not suffer. She advised she does not suffer from anxiety and denied prior life trauma other than divorced parents. Dylan explained she was awoken to a noise sometime between 4 and 4:20. Okay, now hang tight. Now, is she looking at her phone? You guys, if she is looking at her phone, this means 3 and 3:20. Because her phone is showing her 4 and 4:20. You understand? Hell's bells. Holy ball sack. Let's see. Okay, now again, Dylan explained she was awoken to noise sometime between between 4 and 4:20. And the only reason I say this is that if she's using her phone to like just look at it, like she would have been. Okay, she was asked to explain. Why weren't you asking her? Is that what says on your phone, honey? Or where are you getting the 4 to 4:20 at? Okay. But she explained that she woke between the noise sometime between 4 and 4:20. She was asked to explain the amount of alcohol she had consumed before going to bed. And she again explained while she was playing Rage Cage, which included the White Claws, part of a Borg, and maybe 2 or 3 more drinks, White Claws, at Blank House. She denied drinking after she left Blank House. She advised she had been consuming the alcohol until approximately 1:15 or 1:30 on Sunday morning. She denied drinking any more alcohol after she and Blank got back to her residence. So wait, all you're telling me that she explained when she was drinking Rage Cage? What's Rage Cage? Is that the Borg stuff? At 4:22 a.m., she confirmed this information by looking at the text communications on a cell phone. Oh, now here we go. She texted Kaylee asking her what's going on. She advised her phone said 5:22 a.m., which she advised would have been 4:22 a.m. Moscow time. So now she knows that. Okay, so now she's saying that her phone said 5:22. So she has her phone. Okay. She said around 4:20, she heard Kaylee singing and playing music. What the fuck? Kaylee singing and playing music. God. Singing and playing music. She heard who she believed Kaylee. What? She heard who she believed Kaylee walking up the stairs. God, these people can't sleep. And Dylan advised she heard Kaylee say, "Someone's here." That would have been Molly, who drops the DoorDash off at 4. Kaylee's just ducking Molly. Someone's here. And she sounded frantic. What? Dylan described Kaylee's tone as somewhere between talking and yelling it. She believed it was Kaylee who was walking up the stairs with Murphy. Remember, Murphy was missing. Murphy starts barking. Murphy's missing. She said she heard who she believed to be Kaylee running down the stairs after bringing Murphy up the stairs. Now, then she's hearing Kaylee running down the stairs. She advised Murphy was barking at this time. Dylan advised she has been... What the hell? Why does all of that have to be fucking redacted? Yeah, we're going to get this audio. Hollywood. You know Hollywood. My girl Hollywood got her first birdie, girl. Woo! Hollywood on that birdie train, baby. You know what it's like to get a birdie train, huh? Do you have birdie juice in your bag? When you get a birdie, you got to do a shot. That's what all the good golfers do. What is this? Birdie bitch. Yeah. The birdie train. Well. I agree with you though, Holly. Because yeah, this is, okay, so she says she woke up between 4 and 4:20 to Kaylee singing and playing music. She heard who she believed Kaylee walking up the stairs, and Dylan said that she heard Kaylee say, "Someone's here." Remember I told you when you're going up and down in that certain area, going up from down the stairs, up the stairs, Molly's over here like, yeah, somebody was just ducking every time I would look up at them. Somebody was just ducking. Now, unless Molly was told to say that, okay, because that's what it would look like. Names shouldn't be redacted unless they are minors. Why is there so much redacted? Why is what Dylan has to say here have to be redacted? Dylan clearly is saying something important. Why are you redacting this? Like, what the fuck? Doesn't make any sense. So Dylan advised she has been blank. This is really, really private. She does not believe Murphy is normally a barker. Barker. She further stated she believed it was Kaylee who was running down the stairs after she heard her say, "Someone is here." She further explained she does not know if she actually heard this or whether she was drunk and did not actually hear any of this. She heard the footsteps of who she believed to be Kaylee. Footsteps? Like almost like sneaking around footsteps. She explained all the girls were Doc Martens. Oh, here we go. And that is what she believed she was hearing. Oh my God, Doc Martens. Donna Martin graduate. That is, wow. Dude, I'm telling you, that is so specific. I know exactly what she's talking about. We lived in a house that it was 3 levels, and there was a kitchen on the first level, 2 bedrooms, a living room, and then on the second level, kitchen, living room, balcony, 2 bedrooms, and I was in the middle. So, and then on the third level, a bathroom and just 2 bedrooms. And one of my roommates was so sneaky because we are just so smart that she would get on this dude's shoulder, like his back, like a piggyback ride, and would have him be the only person walking up the stairs so that we never knew when she was having these booty calls, because she was like, you're going to hear 2 sets of stairs go up, or 2 sets of, people walking, going up the stairs. But if I get on his back, you're not going to know that. And then therefore she was proceeding. And then he would literally go out the window. And I'm like, you did all of that just to like, because because we were that wild, we would just blast that shit. So no shit. That's how she would go up the stairs. So this is just reminding me of college days of, you hear that shit. Those houses just are so thin, and I don't know. But we used to do that to each other. Keep people out of our business. Anyway, so she thought that she heard Doc Martens. Okay. So Doc Martens. She's like, this is what we wear. Okay. We all wear this. She said, she explained all the girls wear Doc Martens, and that is what she believed she was hearing. Kaylee coming down the stairs wearing her Doc Martens because of the sound of the footsteps coming down the stairs. Dylan called blank at 4:19 a.m. Period. Doesn't like she won't say did she talk to her? What? Who called who at what? 4:19. What? Because that would have been Bethany actually calling Dylan. But the way that this looks like it says is like Dylan called Bethany at 4:19, then Xana at 4:20, Kaylee at 4:20, and then Bethany again at 4:20. Dylan advised Bethany told her about seeing fireworks. Oh, what the fuck? So see, she hasn't seen the guy yet. She texted Bethany a last time at 4:27 a.m. before she went to Bethany's room. So 4:27 a.m. What? Dylan then explained when she first opened her door and she said she did not see anyone. The second time when she opened her door, she heard who she believed to be Kaylee crying, and Dylan believed Kaylee was in the second floor bathroom. She then heard a male voice, which she stated she had never heard before, say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Dylan believed the unidentified male was in the bathroom and with the person who was crying. She believes it was Kaylee who was the one crying. Dylan stated that now she has gathered additional information. She now believes it was probably Xana who was crying. What additional information did you gather? Do you understand? Oh my God, there it is right there. Did Ann Taylor not use that? Like, what do you mean you gather different information? Like, so that's not your recollection. Oh my gosh. I just personally believe this, that house is way smaller. Okay. And I think that if Dylan was to open up her door, she probably would have heard Kaylee in that bedroom that's just upstairs. I mean, but then they're realizing that the time doesn't make sense because she's talking about people going up and down, up and down. But I still think that she would have heard stuff because it's just, but she said it sounded like it was coming from the bathroom. Oh my God. What other information did Dylan gather? What? Wouldn't she be asking her that? You'd say, like, what are you talking about? So again, the second time when she opened up her door, she heard who she believed was Kaylee crying, and Dylan believed that Kaylee was in the second floor bathroom. She then heard a male voice, which she stated she had never heard before, say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Dylan believed the unidentified male was in the bathroom and with the person who was crying. She believes it was Kaylee who was crying. Dylan stated that now, though, she has gathered additional information. She now believes it was probably Xana who was crying. At the moment of hearing the crying, she stated she believed it was Kaylee who was crying. At the moment of hearing the crying, she stated that she believed it was Kaylee who was crying. She advised she knows the male's voice was not Ethan's voice. Okay. She described the last episode of Vampire Diaries, and she remembered it was two males rescuing a female. She explained it was not violent. She advised the male figure in the last episode was wearing all black. Oh my God. Ann Taylor didn't talk about this, did she? Wait, what the fuck? I can't even believe this. She described the last episode of Vampire Diaries, and she remembered it was two males rescuing a female. She explained it was not violent. She advised the male figure in the last episode was wearing all black, but Dylan explained that was normal for the series. She is not certain whether she heard Murphy barking during the first time she opened her door, but she advised it was possible he was barking, but Murphy was moving away from the house. Oh my God. Murphy was moving away from the house. The barking was moving away from the house. Oh my God. What? She described Murphy was a puppy. And Dylan had just met him in August. She could not describe Murphy as being skittish. She advised she opened and closed her door a total of 3 times. And the 4th time, oh my God. And the 4th time is when she left her bedroom to go downstairs to Bethany's room. Dylan advised she continued to call and text her roommates, but received no answers. She provided the time she called and texted her roommates, and the time span she advised would have been between 4:20 a.m. and 4:27 a.m. She advised she never thought about an intruder. And in her mind, she stated she was not processing what was occurring as threatening. She advised she believed the male was directing his conversation of who she believed was Kaylee. She advised she did not believe the male was directing that statement to her. What? In discussing why the offender did not harm her, it was discussed that it was possible the male knew her and wanted to protect her. And she said she understood that was possible, but she denied knowing who the suspect was. Oh. This is what they're saying to her? What? In discussing, oh my God, in discussing why the offender did not harm her, it was discussed that it was possible the male knew her and wanted to protect her. Like, hey, Dylan, maybe he knew you and wanted to protect you. And she's like, and she said she understood that was possible, but she denied knowing who the suspect was. Dylan further explained she Snapchatted Ethan, but received no answer from Ethan. Dylan thought Ethan was still either at Sigma Chi or was at home. She was not certain. Oh my God. Oh my God. That means that. Wow. The 3rd time Dylan opened her door, she said her vision was blurry or fuzzy, but she advised she saw a figure of someone that was dressed in all black. Oh God. And they were masked. And he was holding an item of what she initially perceived was a vacuum. You know what? Maybe it was a vacuum seal. You know how you seal up your you know, you seal up your meat. Brian's in there sealing up all of his clothes. he's sealing up. Oh my God. Maybe that's what she meant. It initially perceived was a vacuum, but she said that did not make sense to her. She described the suspect as not being muscular, but being skinny and toned, like a basketball player. She further described him as being taller than her 5'10" frame by at least 3 inches. It's a pretty good job. So he would have been 6 feet. she advised he had to have heard. She advised that he had to have heard her call Kaylee and Xana. Exactly. And she thought he would have had to have heard her calling for them. And she was so confused as to why he did not come to her room. Exactly. This is what I've been saying, and I've been waiting to see those words. Thank you. That's 100% truth. And that's why Dylan is probably like, what the fuck, dude? I was out there. I opened up the door and I'm like, and I'm saying their names. And so it's like, why aren't you coming in here? Why didn't you come into my room? Like, my room is right next to the stairs. I'm opening up my door. I'm saying everybody's names. I'm calling them. And probably when she was on the phone, she was probably, did she leave a message? And that sucks for Dylan. Because she's like, what the fuck? For like that survivor's guilt. Like, why? Like, I'm not saying that she's like wishing that she'd be dead or anything like that. I'm just saying that it wouldn't make, it'd be like, what the fuck? But it's like, it's so fucked up. And this is what would lead people to believe that it was an isolated, targeted attack. Because Dylan's over here like, listen, I was saying, I don't understand why I wouldn't be attacked. It wasn't like, she's basically saying there's no way that nobody would not know that I was home. That's what I'm gathering. Now, unless you think that she's lying about that, like, but I don't. Like, I would rather hear it. I'd rather hear her interview than have Gooch type this up. But, so, so again, she advised that he had to have heard her call Kaylee and Xana. Why doesn't she say he would have had to have heard me call Bethany? That's who you actually talked to on the phone. You know what I mean? But that means that when actually, you know what that tells me is that she called Bethany. Oh my God. That means that she made that phone call after he was gone. That's why. Bingo. Bethany convo. Person gone. But she's saying that when she was, that's what that means. Okay. Okay. She described the item. She described the item the suspect was holding, which she advised was like a cylinder. And she remembered a cop talking about a bow. Oh my God, what? A cop talking about a bow. So she was trying to ascertain if what she saw was in fact shaped like a bow. Oh my God. Who was talking about a bow and arrow? You guys need to hear, you guys need to see. Okay, I'm going to go and grab there is, I shit you not, on Indian Hills, back either right before the murders happened or right after, but before the suspect was caught. If you go and you check the Moscow Police Department, like, daily call-ins, 911s, on Indian Hills, there is a neighbor that is shooting bow and arrows at his other neighbor. I kid you not. And they're shooting bow and arrows. And I'm going to go get, I'll go get it. It's insane. And it's right where the person's house was that they got the nest ring. If you guys look, it's on there. I'll put it on the community page later. I still have it. And when the cop went out there, they went to the back door and they saw how one of the bows was there. Anyways, So moving on. So she described the item the suspect was holding, which she advised was like a cylinder, and she remembered a cop talking about a bow. So she was trying to ascertain if she saw was in fact shaped like a bow. Dylan further stated she thought that maybe it was a firefighter because of what Bethany told her about seeing a firecracker. Bethany saw a firecracker. I mean, this is absolute wild. She advised he would have been approximately 3 feet 3 inches away from her, and she believes she saw him walking out the back sliding glass door. What? You guys. He had looked at her before walking out the back door. She was not certain if he could see her whole body or just her head. Exactly, because the way that she peeked out. And you know what? This is exactly goes because he was, they lied at that probable cause. Okay, lied, misled everything, made it seem like that makes sense with what Scott Roeder said now, in my opinion, which is if he had changed, okay, and this actually started earlier than what we think. If this started earlier because this person that was in there and then maybe the reason that anyways, if this started earlier because this person wasn't running around like a crazy person, right? Because of the gravity droplings at both of the doors where the victims are. Okay, this is not Scott said the evidence on that ground does not show a chaotic scene. This is somebody who is methodically moving around, who is not running all over. And I said, well, what would you think? Why wouldn't Dylan, and he said, because if he changed clothes, he couldn't kill her then because then his clothes were all fucking like those. He needs to have clean clothes to get into, a vehicle. And that would ruin the plan. Because Bill Thompson is like, I am sure that Brian saw Dylan. What? How are you sure of that? Because I personally think that, I don't know. Now this is being described as like he's basically walking out the sliding glass door. Why would I think that they saw each other? Whatever. Again, this is her saying, I don't remember. At 4:22, then Blank corrected her time and stated at 4:23 a.m. She advised she texted Blank and they conversed about someone wearing all black. And Bethany said something to the effect of, what the fuck? Why is Xana wearing all black? What? Dylan explained she was not certain if she had been dreaming this or if it was real. Dylan explained she saw the suspect holding something she believed to be what? Did they write this again? Dylan explained she saw the suspect holding something she believed to be cylinder shaped and also shaped like a triangle at the bottom of the cylinder shape. She advised the suspect was approximately 3 feet away from her and he looked at her but was walking out the sliding door when she saw him. She said she saw his eyebrows. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God, this is crazy. She saw his eyebrows as he was leaving. I'm sorry, but I just think that it would have just been really hard for a jury to be like, wait, what? Like, I'm just glad that if Brian did it, I'm just glad that there was a plea deal because this would have been off the wall. Like I told y'all, this would have been off the wall in a trial. Holy shit. She said she saw his eyebrows. At approximately 4:23 a.m., she texted Bethany to tell her she saw a masked suspect in their house. She didn't say it like that at all, but that's fine. Bethany responded at approximately 4:25 a.m., telling her to come to her Bethany bedroom at that. It's better than being alone. Dylan then left her bedroom after opening her door the fourth time and ran to Bethany's bedroom downstairs. Dylan advised when she left her bedroom, she looked down the hall to Xana's bedroom and she could see Xana laying on her back in her underwear. But she thought at the time Xana was passed out. Dylan stated she never went into Xana's bedroom and she could only see Xana from the hallway and she was running to get to Bethany's bedroom. She advised she was too scared. That sucks. To go into Xana's room. She was too scared to go into Xana's room. And she knew Bethany was awake and she knew to go there because she was scared. She saw Xana was wearing her underwear. And she explained Xana was comfortable enough with the roommates that she would wear her underwear around them. So this was not unusual. Well, what? But I wouldn't even think about that. If she's in her own bedroom, like, what do you mean? How about nobody's talking about that they didn't even, do you understand that neither Bethany nor Dylan knew about this DoorDash? Like, not a clue about this DoorDash. Also, remember, she's thinking that Kaylee is she thought she heard Kaylee crying, okay? And Kaylee was in the bathroom. So think about that for a second. It's like, where's Kaylee? Where's Murphy? Okay, Xana, great. She's passed out, if that's what you think. But you heard who you thought was Kaylee crying. You heard who you thought was Murphy barking. Are they still barking? And yes, Murphy is still barking. We know that Murphy continues to bark. But she says that it was like Murphy was moving away from the house, which is, dude, that's nuts. Murphy was going away from the house. When asked about the lighting conditions inside the residence, she advised that possibly Xana's light was on or the party lights were on, and that is how she was able to see Xana, because otherwise she would not have been able to see her lying on the floor without any lights being on. She was not certain if the bathroom lights were on, but she was not certain what lights were on, if any. What? How could she not gather that more information? She knows like how their house was normally like had all those lights on. She advised Xana to not say anything. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is horrible. This is fucking horrible. Dylan stated she did not think anything was wrong. What? She later offered she may have been able to see Xana lying on the floor because they also had a Sensi light, and it could have been she was able to see Xana from the Sensi light. What? She explained that she has been trying to determine what was real from everything that she had been talking about with Sergeant Blaker and myself. She advised she knew the time with Blank, Kaylee, and Maddie were real because she has the video of them together. Okay, there's a video. Oh my God, there's a video of them together. She was not certain how Blank... I knew it! Thank you. She's not certain how Blank got home that day. Why does she have to blank those out? You want to know why? I'll tell you why, because it has everything to do with this story. Ethan and Xana's name have not been blanked out at all. Not at all. They're not blanking out the victims' names. They're blanking out like witnesses' names. But right there, why is she what names be blanked out right there? Is she saying that she's not certain how Dylan herself got home? And how I'm not certain how Dylan And Bethany got home that day. What? Yes, exactly. It does not fit their narrative because of when they got home. And they're unaccounted for. This is crazy. This is so sad, man. This is so freaking sad. She further explained she has been trying to piece things together because some things do just not make sense to her. I don't blame you. I would have been doing the same thing. Everybody would have. She stated that she is being truthful, but some of what she has been discussing, she is not certain is factual. She has been working through it to try to remember what happened. Did you ask her how? Well, we'll find out if they ever release the audio. Dylan was asked if the female who was crying was saying anything, and she advised no. The female was only crying, and the male was the only one talking. It's fucking sick. She described the item the suspect was holding was cylinder shaped and was also triangular shaped. She could not remember if the lights were on or off when she encountered the male suspect. She advised she does not know if this is even something she saw or it was something she dreamed. Now I get it. God. I think that everybody was killed earlier. And that's why, I mean, if you read Pullman stuff, they said that they thought this happened between 3 and 4. God, wow. I would love to see Kaylee and Maddie's steps with their phones. It would just be interesting to see what time those phones stop walking. Doesn't mean it also goes with what Scott Roeder was saying in terms of just, I'm saying, like the crime scene. That, yeah. It's crazy. This is so sad. Anyways, reading on. She advised the last time she saw Xana was at blank house at approximately 11:04. She's looking at her phone for that. Now, would that actually be 11:04? Is that actually 10:04? Is she accounting? Dylan confirmed this by checking her cell phone. Xana had been holding a White Claw. She was at blank at 12:49 a.m. She further advised Xana and Ethan did not stay at Ethan's house with any frequency. What the hell kind of word is that? Because of Ethan's grades, he could not reside at the fraternity. He had his own apartment, but she does not know where his apartment is because she had never been there. How, you guys, I'm sorry, but that to me is wild. Out of all the conversations and everything, you have no idea where Ethan's apartment was located? Wow. There is no way. I knew where all my roommates' boyfriends lived. Unless it was like a booty call. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's just crazy to me. So he has an apartment, but she does not know where his apartment is because she has never been there. She knows Kaylee and Maddie were home when she went to bed, and Bethany, and from when she saw Xana laying on the floor, but she was not certain about whether Ethan was home. She advised she left Bethany and blank house at approximately 12:49 a.m. to return home. So she's looking at her phone. Dylan stated she is certain at 3:11 a.m., which through discussion might have been 2:11 a.m. Moscow time, that blank, Kaylee, Maddie, and she were all in the house. She was not certain about Xana and Ethan because she does not know when they came home. But this is, I'm trying to figure out that everybody was at home by 2. Everyone was at least home by 2. Can you believe that? Everybody was home by 2, okay, and asleep by, remember that, or at least in their rooms by 4. Remember that? She denied perceiving a threat. Even after encountering the male in the hallway. She didn't encounter the male in the hallway. She peeked out of her door where we know where her bedroom is. She basically sticks her head out, okay? And this is why Ann Taylor was like, this version of her even just sticking out the head, you can't see the sliding door. That's why Ann Taylor is even saying that can't be true. She would have had to come out further than that. Or like Dylan is saying, that she's dreaming this part. Because this is the end of the Vampire Diaries when there was somebody that's dressed in all black and blah, blah, blah. You know? And so she's wondering, wait, is that what I saw then? And then Ashley Jennings is gaslighting the courts by saying, well, Judge, we know it's all real because look at it all happened. That's not the part that Dylan's talking about. Clearly it all happened, Ashley Jennings. Claps for you. But she's talking about is, did I really truly even see that person there? Okay. And you're just conflating the issue. So go fuck yourself, Ashley. Because that's not the argument. The argument is seeing the person in the hall, seeing the person at the slider. That's the part. Please, people, please. Okay, so she denied perceiving a threat. Even after encountering the male in the hallway, she said there were people coming in and out of their house all the time. She denied remembering what his face looked like. I do not know what his face looks like. That's what she means by that. Like, she did not. I don't know what he looks like. And she said she could see that his head and mouth were covered. What? And said she could see that his head and mouth were covered, but she could see his eyebrows, and further advised she was not certain she could see his nose. When asked if she knew what a balaclava was, and she said no, so I asked Sergeant Blaker to show Dylan a picture of one from his cell phone. And upon looking at a picture of one, she said, that could have been it. She does not remember seeing his mouth or nose, but she could see his eyebrows. When asked if any of her roommates told her about prior instances involving anything that concerned them, and she advised that Kaylee had told them, blank and the other roommates, about an incident a month prior when she was outside with Murphy about a subject who had been watching her. This subject was in the apartments above the girls' residence. Thank you. Okay, now the rest of it comes out. Boom. This person wasn't in the damn woods. What a bunch of liars. Did the screen go black? Is it back? Okay. She was not in the wood. The person wasn't in the woods. The person was above them in the apartments. Everybody can just suck it. You guys, you know what apartment she's talking about? You guys remember, I will go and grab the body cam of when this weird ass dude is standing right there at the Queen Road apartments, being a little creeper, and standing there and watching these people party. And this was after the murders, actually. And I want to say it was in like the spring of 2023. And somebody had called it a noise complaint or whatever, and these cops are walking all over the place. And then when they come up to this dude, they say, "Oh, sorry to bother you. We're just like," I would be like, what is this guy doing? Unless you're the caller. which I know that he wasn't, because I know who the 911 caller was for that, or the noise complaint caller was for that. But what is this man doing? Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Just little pervs. Remember, Kaylee was looking up people that were on like the sex offender list right before she was murdered. Okay. Where was I? Okay. So again, she said, you guys, there was people coming and going from her house all the time. Okay. Period. And there was this time that there was a subject, and this subject was in the apartments above the girls' residence. You guys, that is Queen Road right there. Apartments. Dylan further explained that 2 to 3 weeks ago, while at Winco, Kaylee told her about a male subject who followed her from the Winco store all the way to Kaylee's car. Even when Kaylee went to leave, the subject was standing by Kaylee's car. Also, 2 to 3 weeks ago, all of the roommates went to Starbucks together, and when they got home, their front door was wide open, and they do not believe it had been open when they left. Well, God, I would hope not. The fuck? She explained there were prior issues with the front door. So she said it was possible the door opened because there had been a snowstorm. And she explained possibly the wind caused the door to open. Also, when they got home, the washer was going, which she described was not unusual, but this also concerned her. What? The washer was going? Oh my God. Are you guys sitting here telling me that this is like the Brian Colbert situation, where Brian Colbert was going in people's apartments and like rearranging people's panties and shit? Is that what this is supposed to like compare to? You know? Yeah. Weird. The washer was running. Well, did anybody start the washer before they left? Or was it, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think that you would know that. Where did they go? And then wait, so let me explain. Let me get this straight. Gooch and Blake are just sat there listening to like, okay, you guys went to Winco. Were you there? Do you know who the male is? When was this? Oh, when you know, can we narrow down some dates? Can you look through your phone and tell me some dates? Yeah. She explained because of these things, they went to get Ethan's golf clubs to protect themselves when they searched the house. So anybody that cares about golf clubs out there, that would be what the girls would go and grab to protect themselves, I guess. They went to get Ethan's golf clubs to protect themselves when they searched the house. Dylan explained weeks prior to the 13th, Kaylee told the roommates she heard a woman scream, but no one else heard it. What? Oh my God, what is going on? What? Did you guys hear that? I heard a woman scream. Dylan was asking if she was telling either Sergeant Blaker or I anything to prevent us from solving this, and she advised no. What? Dylan was asked, hey, are you telling us stuff so that we won't be able to solve this case? No. That she understood my question. And she advised that she knew she did not sleep through the whole incident because she has texted communications and other things that she knows would have required her to be awake. What? She advised she knows what she heard, especially about hearing who she believed was Kaylee crying and the male voice telling her he was there for her. What? He was there for her. What do you mean there for her? Like, I think what she means by that is, I just don't know if Gooch is living in the 70s or what, like, because that could be taken a couple different ways. This person is there for her to like kill her, or there for her to like help her. She stated again she does not know how much of what she had been telling us was not factual because she is still processing the events. When asked why she believes she was spared after the male suspect saw her, she said she does not know why. And she does not believe anyone ever tried to open her door during the time he was in the house. And he could have easily have done so. Why? I thought she locked the door. What? See, she's getting it though. And he could have easily have done so. And why he would have passed by her room multiple times? How does she know that? How does she know that he would have passed by multiple times? She volunteered that to come through the sliding glass door, the person would have had would have had to have scaled a tall wall. Wait. What? Oh my God. She thinks the killer went in through the top fucking slider. You understand this, right? There it is. I said that back in 2022. God, is anybody reading these? Where's Brian Etten? Did he miss that part? She's talking about Kaylee's room. She's talking about the person going in through Kaylee's slider, scaling the wall. And that's why she's saying, when you talk about hearing the dog from outside versus inside, if that slider upstairs was actually open, that Murphy could go outside, inside, outside, inside. Oh my God. Remember the cops? Yeah, I will. I remember those cops talking about, wow, no stairs, huh? Like meaning that anybody that was from upstairs, the only way that you can get the fuck up out of there is if you have to go downstairs or you're jumping, right? Wow. Again, here it is for those that are just listening and they're probably in bed like, wait, what did Lana just say? This is what Lana said. Lana said that. When asked why she believes she was spared after the male suspect saw her, Dylan said she does not know why, and she does not believe anyone ever tried to open her door during the time he was in the house, and he could have easily have done so. And why he would have passed by her room multiple times. She volunteered that to come through the sliding glass door, the person would have had to have scaled a tall wall. She advised the suspect would have known her room would have been occupied because he appeared to have known the layout of the house. Oh my God. She also said it could have been someone who was in the house last year when the other girls were living in the house. Oh my God. So Gooch and Blake are just like this. Nothing to see here. You would need to talk to every single girl that lived in that house last year after what the fuck she just said. And if they didn't, shame on them. Again, I don't think the ladder was used personally. The ladder was used to put up those lights, by the way. But what matters here is that Dylan is straight up talking about the third floor and about scaling that to go up over there to get up there. And it's like, because for whatever reason, let's just continue reading, but it seems like she doesn't believe that the killer came through the first or the second floor. And as a police officer, when you would have heard her say scale the wall, I think you would have been like, excuse me, what do you mean by scaling the wall? And trust me, I guarantee you they probably did that. You just have to hear the audio because, like I said, they're going to pick and choose what they're typing up. I'm telling you. She advised that there was no one she knows who would have wanted to hurt the girls, and the girls were loved by everyone. She said she had never heard even rumors which were negative about any of the victims. I believe that. When asked about Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Blank advised the breakup was mutual and they have their dog Murphy in common. And Jack comes to their residence and plays with Murphy, and he and Kaylee continued to be friends. When asked if they co-parented Murphy, she said yes. Kaylee told her the relationship with Jack had run its course. Dylan thought Jack had handled the breakup well because every time he came to their house, there did not seem to be an issue. Dylan brought up the name Blank, but she mispronounced his last name during the interview as someone she and the others believed might be involved. Holy shit! But was reluctant to say he was a suspect because she knows how damaging to his reputation that could be if he were not involved. She advised she was told by Blank, oh my God, Xana's best friend. That's what's her name? I think the name is Jack Showalter that they're saying, and it's Emily, Xana's best friend, that Blank once punched a friend of theirs, Blank, in the stomach last year, but Blank did not know the circumstances as to why. Dylan advised that recently Kaylee started talking to blank, blank, blank. Blank seemed okay with that. Jack seemed okay with that she had recently started talking to this person. Look how extra careful they were to make sure they got that name all the way over. I already know who that person is. Blank, Dylan offered her DNA. She offered it. Dylan offered her DNA. Sergeant Blaker secured a swab at the conclusion of the interview. She advised there might be, oh my God, she advised there might be difficult to locate the offender's DNA because they had conducted a deep clean of their residence leading up to the parents' weekend. No, that would actually mean that you would have a easier and better chance to find the killer's DNA. If you had cleaned before, because all the parents are coming over for parents' weekend, you did all the deep cleaning them. That means that you got rid of a lot of shit of people's DNA, right? But here, she's offering this up. It makes no sense. And in fact, it's like, hey, if you can't find anything, oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, we cleaned up. So, like, I mean, she could have just been really super nervous and she's not like gathering the fact that, well, if you just did a deep clean, that actually it's going to be better for us, but it looks really, really bad. That comment looks really, really bad. Did Brian Enton read this to you guys? Brian Enton's still fumbling over there over. I can't wait to read all these professors and all these criminology students because I'm going to tell you guys what I think about that. That was what I went to school for. And let me tell you something. If I think somebody's a complete fucking weirdo, I think somebody's stalking women, I think somebody's doing all these things, right? Then there's a quadruple homicide, okay? And they're all looking for a killer or killers, okay? And Ben Gay has been in Brian Kohlberger's white Honda Elantra, okay? So the moment that you hear about, hey, we're looking for a white Honda Elantra on December 7th, and none of these people that are in this criminal justice program, this PhD program, these professors, everybody that thinks that he is a complete fucking whack job, none of them call in a tip. None of them say, oh my God, the person that you're the person that could have possibly done this, Brian is all obsessed with serial killers. He's doing this, he's doing that, and he has a white Honda Elantra. He went to that barbecue at somebody's house. He would have known. I mean, come on. This guy never crossed your mind? Great. Claps. Because that's fucking crazy. That is absolute crazy that none of those people would have called in a tip if this kid was this fucking unhinged to the point that you were trying to kick him out of a program. It's just like, talk about I mean, you have no instinct. You have no, like, if there's a program with only 12 of us or 13 of us or whatever, and this kid is just so misplaced. And the one professor thinks that he's going to get his PhD and he's going to become a predator, a sexual predator. Yeah, I'd want you teaching me, man. I'd want you teaching me. I can read the books myself. Thank you. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They need to switch majors. Sorry, I've been wanting to get that off my chest all fucking day. That's that. Nuts. Okay. Yeah. So going back to this part where she advised there might be difficult to locate the offender's DNA because they had conducted a deep clean of their residence leading up to the parents' weekend. When asked about when the deep clean of the residence occurred, it would have been before the weekend of the crimes. What? And then do you think Gooch and them, I mean, let me tell you something. If this was anybody other than a chick, and let's say that a guy said this, if a guy would have said this, think about it. And then here's these cops. They're just going to not say anything, right? Versus saying, wait, so you guys cleaned before the murders, right? Is that what you're saying? So therefore, there's actually going to be hardly any DNA in the house because you would have cleaned up all the old DNA. So this person's DNA, if they had never come in the house before, right? It's going to be there. Oh God, yeah, you're right. So it would help you guys, right? Like, I would want to see what her response would be. I'd want to like explain that to her and see if she's like, oh yeah, oh shit. Like, oops, made a mistake there. You know? Because I think she kind of just told on herself that they cleaned up. That's what it looks like. But I don't think Dylan had anything to do with it. I think that she just, I think she's got everybody in her whole house was just murdered. And she's trying to help, and maybe she's just like trying to give everything she possibly can, and she doesn't know. And so she's just, but I think it would have really helped and for them to probably say that to her. But I don't think they did. And I feel really bad. I do. But like on the day that they would have been doing this, what was it, the 16th? I mean, it's. Ooh. She was advised there was evidence left in the residence, and she sighed and said she was glad to hear that there was evidence found at the scene. Whew. Okay. She was advised there was evidence left in the residence. Good. She explained her. Oh, great. And now we don't get that. When asked if she would be able to provide a description to a police composite artist, she said she would not be able to. Excuse me. Scarlet. She would not be able to describe enough of the suspect to be helpful. She further advised the only thing she remembered about his face was that his eyebrows were really bushy. That's when that came into play, when asked about the composite shit. Interesting. I really want to hear that. I want to hear how that went down. She advised she was confused about why the offender would have taken the patio door out of the residence because of the drop off the patio. What? She advised she was confused about why the offender would have taken the patio door out of the residence because of the drop off from the patio. You guys, she's thinking that when the person left out of the patio to go and leave, she's assuming, okay, that this person went to the right when they left. You understand that? She thinks that this person went to the right. You understand that? She does not think that this person went to the left. Do you want to know why you would think that? Because she's in her room and she does not see the person walk past or anywhere near her fucking door. Her window. Her window. Her window. She'd be able to see if the person left and actually went to the left, which is towards her window of her door. Okay. And ready for this? If she's been listening, she has those neighbors that have the cameras. Okay. And if they were going through those cameras or something, there's something that there's something there that this girl has seen. And I'm telling you, Maury and them, they had those cameras and those passwords to those cameras. And the date that the FBI, the first time that they were ever given video was not until November 19th. They had the passcodes to those, to Linda Lane and to 1112. They had them on the 13th. Why is the FBI just getting video on the 19th for the first time to start looking at a suspect car? Love you, Lana. Stop defending Dylan. How am I defending Dylan? I'm reading documents. Defending Dylan. I'm defending the truth. I'm in search of the truth. And this is, again, hearsay. Because we know a report is hearsay because it's written by a police officer who's listening to something and then they're writing something. That's why reports aren't admissible in trials. Your report can be used to recollect your memory on what you wrote, okay? But this is hearsay. So go get the audio and play it. This is all hearsay from Victoria Gooch. And guess where Blaker's report is? Non-motherfucking existent. Blaker didn't even write up a report, that lazy fuck. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Joanne. And fucking killing it. Leanna has been on this case day one, killing it. You guys, hey, Crystal, are you aware that Brian Kober said, I fucking did it? Sheesh. She advised she remembered. Okay, so she was advised she confused. What was she doing over here? Okay. Again, she advised she was confused about why the offender would have taken the patio door out of the residence because of the drop off from the patio. She advised she remembered that cars do come by their residence a lot. And she said there was a black truck driving past blank Bethany's window. What? And she further said that she was not absolutely certain it was a black truck. But there was a vehicle that went by their residence and she could see the tail lights. What? When? Are you talking about after she went in the bedroom with Bethany? Oh my God. Oh my God. If she went in the bedroom with Bethany and it was the black truck, that is hella earlier. You guys do know that, right? That is hella earlier, right? You guys know when the black truck's around, right? That's like the Banfield cameras, okay? The black truck is way earlier. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It happened. That's like right after that 253 shit. It's just Vicky Gooch is over here writing shit down, no context of what this is. You'd be like, what do you mean you saw a car from Bethany's room, a black truck? When was this? Like, when? Gooch is just like, oh, okay, I'll just type this down. So, when? So she advised she remembered that cars do come by their residence a lot. And she said that there was a black truck driving past, and I'm guessing this is Bethany's window. Okay. And now think to yourself, when would she have been in Bethany to see that out of Bethany's window? That would have been when she's in Bethany's room. And she further said she was not absolutely certain it was a black truck, but there was a vehicle that went by their residence and she could see the taillights. It's just so funny that she's talking about this. You guys, she's repeating what she's seeing in a video. She could see the taillights. That's exactly what they've been talking about from probably 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now she's going to go do this interview. They're talking about that she has seen those videos. I'm telling you that she could see taillights, but she could not remember if the headlights were on. Oh my God. Holy shit. This is what we said. Oh my God. You guys. Oh my God. Where's Mark B? Mark B. Remember when he said people turn on? I can't. I gotta stop. This is crazy. This is crazy. Breathe. Breathe. But she does not remember if the headlights were on. Do you understand that you would have to be like staring out the window? If you're in, this is not a recollection from being in Bethany's room, but let's say that it is. Okay. Do you understand? You're going to move over that curtain, right? But you're so scared, right? We're going to look out the window and we're going to be looking for people. What? She did not remember if the headlights were on, but what drew her attention to it was the red lights on the back of the truck. That's the 423 truck. That's the one that backs away. That's what the one I think that she's talking about from the Linda Lane camera. Whatever vehicle leaves at Linda Lane, this is what I believe that she's talking about, which puts her way down in Bethany's room before 427. Because guess what, guys? Linda Lane's truck leaves at 423. So if you really want me to just be like a sergeant about this time shit, there's no way that she could have ever seen that truck because it had already passed. If you want to be like a drill sergeant, then yeah, I'm going to drill Dylan here on the fact that, like I've said, come downstairs now. I'm not buying that. Why would you need to be telling somebody to come downstairs now? But go look at Linda Lane. And so she's telling the detectives that she doesn't go down. 427 is when she goes down in that room. And go look at Linda Lane and when that truck leaves. Because that's the truck that she's talking about. Enan didn't have a black truck. What the fuck are y'all talking about? He had a little beater. Bless your hearts, man. He had like a soupty hoopty You know, he had a hoopty doopty. Enon saw black. Enon saw black SUV. That's right. Is that right? No, the car that he saw. Yes, the car that he saw. I'm sorry. I thought that somebody wrote that he had one of those. I was like, no, I definitely know that he doesn't have that. Okay. Regardless, the whole point of this, guys, is that regardless, how about this? Who gives a fuck what it was? Let me tell you something. When did she see it? And listen to when she's trying to tell you that she saw this vehicle. She's trying to tell you that she saw this vehicle after a huge traumatic experience that she thinks that, hey, I just saw a man with black mask on leave my house. My roommates were crying. Now Xana's on the floor just with her panties on. And I'm downstairs in Bethany's room. I'm just going to move over the curtains, though, and I'm going to sit out here and I'm going to watch for cars. And I'm going to know. No. I just think that they're listening. And Dylan's obviously, and I don't blame Dylan for this. Think about how you would be, all of you true crimers out there. You'd want to try to figure out what the hell happened to your friends, wouldn't you? Like, what the fuck happened? I was in a house. I wasn't murdered. How am I alive? They're all dead. What the hell happened? What is going on? Who the fuck did this? You're just going to not try to do anything, not try to figure shit out? So Dylan was trying to figure shit out. And you could say, why didn't she call 911? Well, what she's trying to say is that we didn't think this happened. We didn't know anything that happened, right? Okay, well, whether or not I believe you or not, but it just seems like Dylan is. It seems like Dylan was fed things, and you might not even realize when people are feeding you something, they're not doing it on purpose. But it's kind of like the whole Karen Reed shit all over again. Okay, it's like Jen McCabe feeding shit to Carrie Roberts. All right. And then Carrie Roberts wanting to be a fucking piece of shit, lying hoe, and tells the grand jury a bunch of fucking bullshit lies. Okay? These people are 19. This girl is 19 years old. All right, Carrie Roberts, fucking 40, man. Fuck you, Carrie. Hammered, wasted. And then these detectives know that none of this is like solid shit, and they built a PCA off of this. So, and what further, and she further said that she was not absolutely certain if it was a black truck, but there was a vehicle that went by their residence and she could see the taillights, but she did not remember if the headlights were on. But what drew her attention to it was the red lights on the back of the truck. And when asked if she meant brake lights, she said yes. When asked what occurred after she went into Bethany's room, she said they eventually fell asleep, and when she awoke, she was laying next to Bethany in Bethany's bed. She advised a friend of theirs, Emily and blank mother are planning a memorial event, and that has helped her emotionally. What? She advised blank is crying a lot over this, but she has not been crying, and blank has explained to her why she has not been showing emotions. What? How does this move from when asked what occurred after she went into Bethany's bedroom? She said they eventually fell asleep. And so that's when Gooch should have been like, okay, well, I thought you said that you were looking out of Bethany's room. Is that when you saw the car? Wouldn't you ask her when the fuck she saw this damn truck? And you know what? The answer is there, guys. Gooch just didn't write it down. I promise you. When we hear that audio one day, which we will, okay. But now she's going into, she wakes up and she's next to Bethany in bed. She advised a friend of theirs named Blank and Blank's mother are planning a memorial event, and that has helped her emotionally. She advised Bethany, I'm guessing, is crying a lot over this, but she has not been crying. And blank has explained to her why she has not been showing emotions. She explained blank used the word disassociate to describe her emotions. When she awakened that morning, Bethany was next to her in bed. They were both too scared to leave Bethany's room to even go to the bathroom. Oh my God, what? What? Dude, after you've done all that drinking, girls gotta pee. But they didn't go to the bathroom. She advised at approximately 11:23 a.m. that and then she corrected the time to 10:23 a.m. Moscow time. Okay. That she had texted Maddie asking her if she was awake. At 11:29 a.m. Moscow time. Dylan texted Kaylee, "Are you up?" She could tell her Snapchats were not being read when she was texting them through Snapchat. Dylan advised she called blank, one of her closest friends, about what happened that night with the masked man. There you go. Who's that? Who did she call? Blank Dylan then explained when she reached out to blank in the text message, which blank told her was at 10:50 a.m., but she thinks blank was mistaken. Blank told her she would send blank to their house because of their concerns about what had occurred during the night. When blank got to the house, oh my God, wait a second. Is she trying to talk about this as Emily? Dylan then explained she reached out to blank in the text message, which Emily told her was at 10:50. But she thinks she was mistaken. Blank told her she would send Hunter Johnson, Emily's boyfriend. That's how I think it is. Or Hunter Johnson, Emily's boyfriend, to their house because of their concerns about what had occurred during the night. When Hunter got to the house, which she described was before noon, she's not certain if he came in through an unlocked front door or had to use the code to the front door to get in to the residence. Oh my God. So Emily's over here saying, dude, you called me at 10:50. You want to know why? Because Josie's boyfriend, who was interviewed, said they got a call at like 10. Oh, shit. Now the truth's coming out. Oh, Dylan. Oh, man. Oh. What were these investigators thinking? Wow. Okay. She is not certain if he came through an unlocked front door or had to use the code to the front door to get into the residence. And when he got into the house, he asked about the location of a knife. What? Wait, he asked about the location of a knife and she directed him to a knife. What? What the fuck is going on? Okay. Oh my God. What? This is crazy. What do you mean she directed him? And when we got to the house, he asked about the location of a knife. and she directed him to a knife. Like, wait, she found a knife and, hey, look at this knife here? Or, hey, what do you mean Hunter needed to, hey, where are your knives at? I need one. What the, what? No, he wanted to be armed with a knife. Why? Why would he need to be armed with a knife? Think about it. Why would? Is it because you said, "Hey, I saw a man in here last night. Nobody's answering," and he's like, "Where are your knives?" What do you mean? Hunter's there like every day. Hunter's there all the time. He doesn't need to ask her where the knives are. That makes no sense. That makes none. No, and also they were downstairs. They never went upstairs. Remember? Hey, where are your knives? The day I ever go into a friend's house or anybody's house and have to ask them where the knives are, I mean, I know they're in the kitchen. That's just poorly, even like maybe it's written wrong. Who knows? But he came through. Yeah. Wow. And when he got into the house, he asked about, okay, she advised she initially went upstairs from Bethany's bedroom with Hunter. And she advised when she saw Xana, she realized Xana had not moved since she saw her earlier. There it is. She was still thinking Xana was still passed out from being drunk. Now, I will give them all of this. Think about this. We've seen the house, okay? Listen. You would never think, okay, that anybody was dead in that house. All the bathrooms are fine. The living room, kitchen. It's just those two bedrooms. So you would have no reason, if you even got up and you were in that living room, you would not think that anything had happened. Okay? It's not like the house is fucking trashed and there's blood all over the place. It's not even like, I'm sorry, but this is not what happened. That's not what you would see. But so Blank then sent Blank downstairs. Hunter then sent Dylan downstairs. She advised Blank and Blank came over after Blank came to the house because she had asked them to come to the house. There it is. So Hunter Johnson was there at that house way longer. Okay. Hunter Johnson then would have gotten there like around, like Dave has said all along, that that people knew by 10 and what seems to be like at 10:50, and then Hunter's coming over at 11. 911 was not called until midnight. I mean, until noon. She advised Blank and Blank came over after Blank came to the house because she had asked them to come to the house. Well, she advised Blank Hunter then came downstairs and she could tell by his facial expression he had seen something, and he told them to call 911. Blank was the one to call. Bethany was the one to call 911. And Dylan at one point said she was on the phone with police dispatch, and the dispatch was asking her about a defibrillator. They told dispatch there were people unconscious. Dylan denied seeing Xana or any of the other victims' bodies. She advised they stayed in the house when the police arrived, and the police, were putting the tape up when they realized there had been a crime. Oh my God. And when they saw the ambulance arrive and leave. Blank told them they would not leave unless there was no reason to stay. She then advised the vandal alert came out, and that is when they realized their friends were actually gone. How fucking horrible. Oh my God. She advised they all realized there had actually been a murder committed in their residence. She said Kaylee had a balcony and she remembered looking at the pictures in the news, and Kaylee's curtains were all messed up. She thought the distance of the balcony to the ground may have been too much and brought too much attention if that is how the suspect made entry into the house through Kaylee's bedroom. Oh, God, told you. Oh my God. Wow. Think about that. Dylan notices, like, she's like, we were just in that room. Kaylee's room is always spotless. Those curtains, what the heck? That's not her room, how her room was. And I'm curious. That's just interesting, man. Wow. Again, she said Kaylee had a balcony and she remembered looking at the pictures in the news. What do you mean? It's on the 17th or the 16th here? When was this taken? She's looking at the pictures in the news, and Kaylee's curtains were all messed up. She thought that now they may be thinking to themselves, she doesn't need to concern herself with that because we did that with the curtains. I mean, I don't know. When asked if she checked the house for anyone else when she initially came home for the night, what? With Bethany? And she asked if she had to unlock the front door. And she advised she believed she had to unlock the front door to get in the house. She advised when she first got home, she remembered the sliding door was closed, but she did not know if it was locked. She advised when she first got home, she went to Kaylee's bedroom to let Murphy out of Kaylee's room. And Kaylee's lights were on, and no one was in Kaylee's bedroom. Murphy came back into the house after going outside. What? What do you mean? Murphy just walked. Sergeant Blaker asked Dylan about the login and username for the router of the Wi-Fi at the residence. And Dylan advised Kaylee was responsible for that bill. She further explained she nor Blank were responsible for the Wi-Fi bill because they had just moved into the residence in August. Kaylee just moved in June, the end of June. Blank had some follow-up questions for Dylan outside of the interview, and as a result, the audio recording was turned off at 2:11 p.m. this day, the same date. That's it. Wow. On 11/18 at approximately 12:42, we have a new interview, and then I'm going to stop it for this one. This was at District 3. Witness 1, a Hispanic, Mexican, Latina, female, 21. See all these different names like Ken Beckner, Trooper Andrew. She lived at Blank King Road across the street from 1122 King Road House. One of the people across the street was a former sorority sister. One was a classmate, and the other two were people she knew through mutual friends. She knew Maddie, and she knew Kaylee the best. Her boyfriend was best friends with Mogan's boyfriend, so they hung out a lot. This was a current relationship. Mogan was in class with her. Kaylee was a Blank sorority sister. She knew Xana and Ethan in passing. She has lived at Blank King Road for just this semester and is currently a senior in school. She lived in the sorority house for 3 years, and this is the first year outside of the sorority. She has been inside 1122 King Road multiple times, with the last time being in September. They came over to her house more often. She had known Maddie and Kaylee for 3 years. They met through recruitment. She saw Maddie and Kaylee Saturday night, November 12th. They went to the corner club after the game. So this is that chick. Kaylee and Maddie were already there when she arrived. Well, that's interesting. Because then this can't be, because Eric said that he took 3 people. She was there for a couple of hours and was really drunk. She left before Maddie and Kaylee. It was sometime around midnight. Kaylee had jokingly mentioned she thought she had a stalker at Winco. It had happened once and was an unknown person. She heard from another friend an instance of the house door at 1122 King Road being open after all the roommates returned from a weekend trip. What? She has a basement room and can see the 1122 King Road house from it. She woke up at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. She didn't hear or see anything that night. 1122 King Road didn't have a party on Saturday night. They may have had one on Friday, but it wasn't crazy. Maddie and Blank were a solid couple and had dated for a year. Blank was with her boyfriend in Boise that weekend. The interview concluded. We can do another one. November 18th. Blank relayed this to the following. Let's see. Who is this? This is a white male, age 22. Blank, he is roommates with, I'm going to guess it's either, I want to say Jack DeCourt, but that seems like a very long name. He is roommates with blank blank. He has known Kaylee since freshman year. They were in the same pledge class, so they've hung out together periodically over the last 4 years. He has visited her house in Coeur d'Alene once. He knew Xana as well, but not as well as Kaylee. He also knew Maddie as well, but they didn't hang out a lot. Kaylee and blank blank had been dating since high school. This is JD. There you go. They are on and off and have broken up twice. They had recently broken up because she accepted a job in Dallas. So they were settling things before she left after the semester. They broke up about 2 months ago. So, wow, he knew that she was leaving after that semester. He never heard from Kaylee about anyone stalking her or giving her bad vibes. He had heard there was someone following her out of Winco a couple months ago. He heard from friends she had someone follow her out of the Winco to her car. He heard that story from blank blank, a sorority sister of Kaylee's. Blank is in California right now, and her phone number is blank. He works at blank in Moscow, so he saw Kaylee, Maddie, and blank leave blank together that night. That was the last time he saw them. Does he work at the corner club? They said they were going to John's Alley and were trying to get some friends to go with them. They didn't end up going there, though. He didn't know where they were before they showed up at blank corner club. Oh. He had seen Xana at some parties, but didn't really know her very personally. He tried to recruit Ethan into his fraternity, but otherwise didn't really know him. He doesn't know of anyone who might have wanted to hurt any of them. They were all really nice people. Blank wouldn't have harmed Kaylee. He loves her and thought that they would. He loves her and thought they would be married. They have a great relationship even when they aren't together. He is a calm and kind person. He's into sports. Not an outdoorsman. He doesn't have a knife. He has never heard blank even say anything bad about Kaylee. What? There is an apartment complex behind the victim's house that has a lot of sketchy people in it. There are registered sex offenders living in it. Wow. That place is behind blank blank apartments. There are windows facing the girl's house and it's adjacent to it. It's a brown brick apartment complex. Whoa. There you go. Is this Adam? We'll end on that note. It's Adam, I think. Oh boy. All right. What? Do you guys want one more? You guys want one more? You guys want one more? One more again? Let's see. He works at Corner Club in Moscow. He saw Kaylee and Maddie. Okay, leave with that was last time he saw them together. Yeah. There is an apartment complex behind the victim's house that has a lot of sketchy people in it. There are registered sex offenders living in it. That place is behind blank blank apartments. There are windows facing the girl's house and it's adjacent to it. Wow. We concluded the interview. All right. Again, on November 18th, they interview, let's see, a white female, 21. I called and arranged with blank to come speak with her about the homicide. Mogan was in class with blank, friend blank, blank, blank. The girls would work on group projects at blank sorority. Blank knew Xana through mutual friends and knew Ethan the same way. Blank is still in the sorority but does not live in the sorority house. Blank lives in a house which overlooks the backyard. Ooh, you know who this is? This is Moyet. Is this who this is? Blank describes how her room looks directly to the sliding door of Kaylee's. I asked blank if she was around the victims the night of the homicides. Blank was with her friends blank and began their night at John's Alley. Blank took a phone call from Kaylee to come down to the corner club. Blank and her friends went to the club. Blank friends slowly left from there and went back to their house. Kaylee and Maddie were still at the club with blank, this person. Kaylee and blank were planning on going to John's Alley to continue the evening. Blank was talking to another friend and noticed that Kaylee and Maddie had left. She's like, what the fuck? You guys just left me? Blank went to Grub Truck. Grub Wandering Kitchen, no set location, and believed she was about a half hour behind Kaylee and Maddie at the truck because she probably looked at it. Blank even had the same Lyft driver as Kaylee and Maddie. Whoa, Lyft driver? That means that they had Eric. She had Eric too. Sergeant Cortez asked if she had any further contact with the girls, and she didn't. Blank and blank fell asleep in blank room. What? Blank and blank fell asleep in blank room. She went to blank's room for the night. She thought she remembered hearing music, but was not sure. She would have been able to hear if they were having a party. I know, because they've... Interesting. Blank and blank fell asleep in blank room. Blank got a video from her friend, blank of blank, and her bed snoring. What? Blank tried to listen to the video to see if she could hear anything in the background, and she couldn't. Okay, so did she bring a friend home? Sergeant Cortez asked if she was aware of where they were before the corner club. Blank thought that they might have come from their house. Thursday night, Kaylee wanted them to go out. Saturday night, everyone was out. She said the girls usually like getting ready together. Oh my God. Sergeant Cortez asked if she was aware of where they were Friday, and she remembered there was a game. What? She thought a couple of them went to the game, but was not sure. There was not a game on Friday. A couple of them went out later. Sergeant Cortez asked if she knew where they were Friday, and blank knew Thursday night was asleep over at the blank house. Kaylee was not able to attend since she resigned from the sorority. Kaylee wasn't even in town. Wait, Sergeant Cortez asked if she knew where they were Friday. And this person knew Thursday night. That's not what he didn't ask about Thursday. He asked about Friday. So, but this girl wanted to get this off her chest. And she was like, well, I know Thursday night. Thursday night was that's how he wrote a sleepover. What the fuck, man? Was asleep. Overnight at the God, what is, dude? Come on. You guys, I can't even right now, okay? Asleep over. I'm sorry. I'll continue. Kaylee was not able to attend since she resigned from the sorority. She thought Kaylee was in Coeur d'Alene, and she told her to come back. She thought Kaylee came back Friday and showed people her car. She did not believe they did anything Friday night. Wow, this girl. So she doesn't know about the I don't believe a word this girl's saying right now, because this is not what they did. Sergeant Cortez asked if Kaylee ever mentioned anything about a stalker. This girl described Kaylee as a person who would just joke things off. She believed there could have been a time where she mentioned something. When recruitment for sorority was over, Kaylee went over to blank house. They were talking and catching up. She thought she mentioned something. Recruitment was freshman year, but Kaylee pushed it off as a joke. She could not remember anything specific from the conversation since it didn't seem like a big deal. Blank thought if Kaylee would tell anyone about something strange like a stalker, would be her ex-boyfriend or Maddie. Blank and Kaylee grew up together and shared a dog, Murphy, together. Sergeant Cortez asked Blank if Kaylee said anything once her and Jack broke up, if he would want to hurt her. Kaylee described Jack to her as her child and was not a serious guy. What? Blank was in blank fraternity and they all hung out together since they lived next door. She described Kaylee and Jack as a brother-sister relationship. Oh my God, I don't sleep with my brother or my sister. This is whack. This broad. You are my child. You guys, what insight over here. And Kaylee clearly wanted to hang out with them at 2:26 a.m. Their brother-sister relationship. They shared Murphy the dog. Sergeant Cortez asked her if she thought Blank would do anything to hurt her, and she believed he would never do anything to hurt her. Jack was described as a city guy. A city guy. And she did not think he did a lot outdoors. That's actually hilarious that she would. He was from Coeur d'Alene area and grew up with sisters. He's a city guy. Sergeant Cortez asked Blank if she knew anyone that might have wanted to hurt them in their circle of friends. She said their circle is interesting, and that's where it kind of stumps everyone. Because this group of people would probably never have been friends if it wasn't for the housing situation. What? Yeah, now she wants to spill the tea. Yeah. Let's go. Come on. What do you got over here? That's interesting to say that. Yeah, she's like, their circle is interesting. And that's where it kind of stumps everyone. Interesting language. Because this group of girls, or this group of people rather, would probably never have been friends if it wasn't for the housing situation. Then all of the roommates' friends would meet each other and have friends hang out with friends. All of the roommates' friends would meet each other and have friends hang out with friends. Why is that weird? Sergeant Cortez asked if there was any mention. Wouldn't you want to dig more into that and be like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Interesting circle of friends. Like, explain this. Sergeant Cortez asked if there was any mention of strangers around the house. Blank spoke about one of the prior tenants to the house. The house had a weird feeling to it. However, it was from several months ago. What? The house had a weird feeling to it. Sergeant Cortez asked her if she heard anything. Aren't you gonna dig into that? Is this who wrote this report? At least Gooch, like, the house had a weird feeling to it. However, it was from several months ago. What was the weird feeling? Sergeant Cortez asked her if she heard anything the night of the homicide, and she normally would. They were referred to as the party house and would normally hang out in the backyard and play loud music. The night of the homicide, everyone had gone elsewhere to hang out. The sliding back door was considered the front door. Oh my God, to the people who would visit. So then what is Dylan talking about? That it'd just be so odd that person would come through the sliding door. Very interesting there. The night of the homicide, everyone had gone elsewhere to hang out. How do you know that? The sliding back door was considered the front door to the people who would visit. She didn't know if the back door was locked or unlocked. Blank talked about how the kitchen area, living area, was the main place for them to hang out. The door was usually open for people. She did not know of any large knives in the house. What? Great. So these type of questions, you guys, hello. Papa Rogers is the easiest. Like, Papa Rogers might reveal themselves soon. With the line of questioning that was asked by these people, it would be easy to get where people are going. Like, I mean, did they have knives in their house? What? She did not know of any large knives in the house. Sergeant Cortez asked Blank if Gonsalves told her about someone following her at the Winco. She had not heard anything of the story. Sergeant Cortez asked Blank if she knew of anyone we should talk to, and she was having a hard time recalling anything. She talked how Kaylee and her would go out randomly and could not think of anyone to talk to. Sergeant Cortez asked her if she knew of anyone Kaylee was romantically involved with after Jack, named blank blank and a blank blank, who are both blanks. She did not have any contact information. She did not believe any of the males mentioned would have anything to do with the homicide, but she doesn't know their contacts. Jesus. I mean, I don't have their information, but they would never have anything to do with this. I told her if she can think of anything to assist the investigation to call. She mentioned how she would hear the dog Murphy bark, and she never heard him bark that night. What? Blank had the television on and thought she had gone to bed around 3:30 a.m. She would be able to hear anything going on in the house since the windows are really thin. That's a great way to write thin. Blank could even hear conversations in the backyard. Okay. Well, guess what, honey? Guess what? That's not what MPD says that you said. MPD, Moscow Police Department, interviewed her brother and the guy that lives there with them. Okay, I believe that this is Madison Moyet. I mean, I could be wrong. This is the house that's in the backyard. And she's saying that I told her if she can. She mentioned how she would hear the dog Murphy bark, and she never heard him bark that night. But she went to bed at 3:30. But guess what? The guy that lived with her said that the dog. I woke up at 4:17, and the dog was barking until 5. Blank could even hear conversations in the backyard. Sergeant Cortez asked if the other roommates would have anyone who would want to hurt them. She thought everyone in the house were amazing people. Kaylee's boyfriend blank blank was in Boise. What? She spoke very highly of him. Kaylee's boyfriend? Or is she saying Mogan? Kaylee's boyfriend was in Boise? She spoke very highly of him. Xana and Ethan were in a newer relationship and usually partied with the blanks. Xana knew a lot of people and did not have any enemies. I could see that. Blank and her friends created Instagram accounts and have their profiles private. Lately, they have been getting a lot of traffic. She added people can make a fake profile and it would be an easy way to stalk people. Thanks. She mentioned a profile which had a pretty girl as the profile picture. The profile had been around for a long time. The name on the profile was Papa Rogers. She did not know if the profile was real or fake. I'm just kidding, guys. Wouldn't that be great, though, that says Papa Rogers? That's all. That's all we got here. All right. Want to say thank you, guys. We're going to call it a night here on, we'll end on Supplemental 7. Wowzer. Lana, this is a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. There's a couple more interviews with Dylan. Thank you for joining. Put it on quick speed if you just joined, or rewind it, hear more. Yeah, thanks for joining. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, members. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, everybody who was here. I could stay up longer to hear more. I know, right? We got to rest this voice. Whew. I appreciate you guys. You guys rock. Until next time, be kind. Thank you, Lottie Dottie. 999. Thank you so much. Mama Hen, love you. But she told Noonans in the beginning that she thought Xana was actually Kaylee. Here she is claiming to have known it was Kaylee all along. I don't think that she knew it was Kaylee all along. I think she was definitely confused because she heard, Kaylee crying. Connie says, your critical thinking and common sense mixed in with great humor is a breath of fresh air. You have found your calling. You are appreciated. Oh, thank you so much, Connie. Shake yes. Watch yourself. Show me what you're working with. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We're gonna wake up with me, folks, because Idaho State Police, in my opinion, has all the interviews, because Moscow didn't do anything. Moscow was, I don't even know what, but all the interviews are going to be right here at the Idaho State Police. So until next time, good night.